Sunny ways, my friends, sunny ways.
So the answer to that is to stop being stupid.
Can you dig it? Can you dig it? Can you dig it?
We have recently switched to drinking water bottles out of water out of when we have water bottles out of a plastic. Away from plastic towards paper, like drink box water bottles, sort of thing.
Well, Lottie frickin' God!
You're ready to fight, aren't you? I can feel it!
I intend to resign as party leader, as prime minister.
Is this true?
Yes, it's true. This man has no dick.
Sorry?
The servicing costs on the debt that you're going to have to carry, that you're adding to now, right?
Interest rates are at historic lows, Glenn.
There's the funds.
On the topic, I mean, in terms of your sort of strategy currently, you're obviously taking the populist pathway.
What does that mean?
He's announcing a catalog, everybody! Hey! Right on! Give him a round of applause! Come on, give him a round of applause! You can't afford a home. You might end up in a tent. Your rent is doubled, but hey, you've got a brand new catalog.
When I'm prime minister, I will keep my promises. Now, another promise. Let me try again.
A lot of people would say that you're simply taking a page out of the Donald Trump book.
Like which people would say that?
Well, I'm sure a great many Canadians, but
Like who?
I don't know who, but...
Well, you're the one who asked the question, so
yeah.
You must know somebody.
We need to trigger an axe the tax election as soon as possible.
We'll do it live. No, we'll do it live. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live.
Yeah, that's all that's coming off. There's nothing else coming off, yeah. I'm not Justin Trudeau here.
Let's fucking go.
Let's fucking go.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Fringe. Welcome to Friday Night Fringe here on the channel as we sit and go over everything that happened this week in politics, everything we know that's coming up ahead, as well as hearing what you, the viewer, has to say in the channel. I hope you guys had a great week. Happy No More Trudeau Day. We're going to talk a little bit about that tonight here, but good things are coming our way, folks. This is a positive. Let's focus on the positive. Joining me, of course, tonight, the very beautiful, as always, Mrs. Fringe. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm always good to have you around. I'm always happy seeing you here, especially the viewers. They're always happy having you here. Guys, get those thumbs up in the stream below, not in the chat, below the video. Hit that thumbs up button, the like button. Let's see if we can break a viewer record tonight. As always, it's always great to break those records. It would be the best belated birthday gift in the world. And speaking of that, took yesterday off. That's only one video out today, folks. I apologize. I took yesterday off to spend my last birthday in Calgary with the family.
Yeah.
Going out and having a good time with the family.
And it was nice.
It was really cool. It was great to actually sit down and relax for 5 minutes while thinking about what's coming out of the future, because this is the second last Friday Night Fringe before our big move to Spruce Grove. We're going to build our new studio.
We are, so it's going to be very interesting.
Very cool to see. But for the first little while, I'll still be in a different room broadcasting once the move is done, because we have to build that studio and get it finished. So it's perfect for you guys coming into those live streams. Let's start with a roll call. Let's see if we can get somebody from every province in the country. Let's see how many states we can cover in the United States as well, because we've had a lot of American viewers joining us lately, and it's amazing. Thank you to all of our American viewers who've come out and support the stream, support the show. It's great to see new viewers all the time. We do have to acknowledge Delphine Thoreau with a 279 Super Chat. Good evening from Fort Mac, Alberta. Welcome in. Great to have you here. We got Nelson Cade coming in from New Brunswick. Welcome, OAO. Happy belated. I appreciate it. Thank you guys, really. Steve coming in from Snottawa. That's a new one. All sorts coming in from Scarberia. Welcome into the stream. We've got Mystical jumping in from an undisclosed location. How many hostages must I take before I get more cowbell? We're going to get into that too. We got Rodney joining us from Newfoundland, Canadian guy coming in from Scarborough, Ontario. OCD from Vavenby, welcome in. Great to have you here. Carol and Gerald are joining us from good old Calgary as well. Welcome in. Master Snatch, Derek turned 52 yesterday. No.
Not even
close. Not even. I haven't even hit 50 yet. Come on. I haven't even hit 46.
There you go.
Come on, Snatch. I think you're confusing me with yourself there. Becca coming in from Lloyd, welcome in, and currently in upstate New York. I hope you're enjoying it. Marta Holding coming in from Nanaimo, welcome in. J-Bye joining us from Montreal once again. Amy coming in from Charlottetown, PEI. Great to see you here. Who else do we have? Eldwin coming in from New Brunswick, welcome in. Ontario Hunterbow coming in from Ontario as well. We got Rochelle coming in from Edmonton. Debbie joining us from Lloyd. Sean coming in from St. Mary's, Ontario. Jeffrey Jones, Texas, says hi. Gotta love Texas, ladies and gentlemen, because in Texas, the stars are bright. Or what is it? The stars at night are big and bright.
There you go. Don't get it wrong.
I'll let all my Texans finish that one. Welcome in. We got Luca joining us once again from Burnaby, BC. You're going to need a new intro. The turd is gone. You know what? It's still fun to laugh at his expense. I'll probably keep it for a little bit. But
I'm tired of seeing him.
We don't want to focus on the crap that's surrounding us now. We want to look back and laugh at all the good times, right? Let's go. We got Mike TV Dub coming in from Winnipeg, number 1 team in the NHL. Go Jets tonight. I know they're playing.
Yes.
Hope they have a great game tonight. I'll be checking out the score afterwards. Shelby coming in from Langley. It's great to have you. Zoidmo coming in from Ontario. Jordo from Southwest Saskatchewan. We got Gospos 1 coming in from New York.
Ooh.
Hey, forget about it. Welcome in. Great to have you here. David Brewer joining us once again from Springfield, Missouri, USA. Always great to see Tiffany by your side. I couldn't agree more. That's why I married her. It's always always fun to have her here. Chip coming in from Montana, gorgeous state. We got Randy coming in from Quesnel, BC. My favorite mod named Ingrid joining us with her husband Charlie from Okotoks, Alberta. Welcome into the stream. Great to have you here. John coming in from Iroquois Falls. We got Mouth of the South coming in from Windsor, Ontario. Judy from Central Florida in the good old US of A. I got the love, the USMA. It's very nice. So welcome in. It's great to have you guys in. Darren saying, shout out from Spruce Grove, Alberta, our future home. Can't wait to get there. Looking forward to it.
Under 2 weeks now.
Less than 2 weeks. Tom Ross coming in from Iowa. Gina from Saskatchewan joining us once again. Judy coming in from Cranbrook. Andy coming in from Ontario. It's not that bad. At least a little less worse now that Trudeau's gone anyways, right? Oh, I thought that was somebody coming in from PEI. My bad. Heather coming in from Kelowna, BC. We got Sharon joining us from Swift Current. What else do we got here? Do I have to really skip ahead already? I hope not. We've got Galen coming in from New Zealand.
Wow.
There's a far off one. Thomas coming in from Wisconsin.
I think you're going over.
Annie coming in from Sarnia. Just me in from Newfoundland. Victor joining us from Minnesota. Harold from New Brunswick. We've got Melanie from Niagara Falls. Guys, I got to get caught up in the chat. Jay Peterson, $2 super chat. Hey there from the Groovy Grove. Can't wait to get out there. Thank you very much for the super chat. Let's get caught up with the stream, folks. We got a lot to talk about tonight. There's a lot going on. Trudeau's gone. Trudeau left. He's gone.
Finally. Yay!
He's gone. Before we get into Trudeau, let's get into the memes, which kind of concern Trudeau this week. That's what everybody's here for, right?
Yeah.
That's what you guys love seeing every
memes.
Friday, isn't it? You guys love the memes. Let's get into it. Justin Trudeau, we did a video earlier this week. Here it is, how it started, how it ended. Notice he's making the same face. Do you think that was intentional as Trudeau walked out with his chair? I know a lot of people say, hey, you know what, Derek? You shouldn't have said he stole one last time in that video. They can get replica chairs. It's part of a tradition in the House of Commons. Here's the thing. If you watch the rest of that video, we were talking about how the people he gave contracts to were billing out over 24 hours in a day, which is fractionally impossible.
Yep.
So that was more the focus. But guys, joining in, Trudeau stealing his chairs, walking out the door with his green chair in the House of Commons. He likes stealing. It's crazy. Pierre Poilievre probably has to lock up his lunch in the fridge. Trudeau trying to steal that too. How? Why do we say that? Well, if you look at Justin Trudeau on his way out, here he is in the kitchen making sure there's nothing left. Guys, Trudeau can't stop stealing. He's got to get everybody's lunch money, everybody's cups. Take him home. Personal souvenir. What a jackass.
He will not be missed.
He will not be missed.
I just want to say.
Trudeau will not be missed. I like this one. Donald Trump meeting with Doug Ford to discuss tariffs. I mean, this picture says it all, doesn't it?
Oh, that's cute.
Doesn't it? This is great. Gotta love Donald hanging out. Doug Ford, a little too heavy for his lap. He's going to break his knees.
I'm going to squish the legs.
He's got a whole lot of weight behind him. A lot of cheesecake. Guy's eating a lot of cheesecake, but we can't call him fat. We only do that to Rosie O'Donnell. I don't know if you guys noticed, Rosie O'Donnell fled for, what was it, Ireland?
Oh, really?
This week. Take a look at this. Tell me how this isn't accurate at all. Apparently, Canada just had a live-action troll doll appointed as deputy PM or VP. There's the first one. There's the second. Do you see the resemblance? Does anybody see?
Uncanny. It's the same picture.
The resemblance? Does Omar shower? Does he have a barber? I mean, the good thing with Omar that we don't have to worry about.
Chip on his tooth.
I like so here. I got to get that off the screen. Yikes.
Yeah.
That's scary. That's nightmare fuel. Chrystia Freeland, when she was deputy PM, she was billing over $6,000 a month for grooming, as well as spa treatment. So at least with Omar, we don't have to worry about that because he doesn't even know how to do his hair by the looks of it. So he's certainly not going to be spending it.
Probably doesn't own a comb.
I'm shocked to see there's somebody, JP, saying he's a hobbit. Yeah, I'm shocked to see hobbits joining us back in the House of Commons. This video was produced for Canada as well. So some of the memes tonight are not just pictures. Little video, little educational video for you guys tonight in the good old meme group coming up from Service Canada. I want you guys to take a look here.
Usually, the mentally retarded are divided into classifications: the educable, the trainable, and the custodial. Obviously, we can only assess the abilities or potential of the mentally retarded on an individual basis. Seemingly random motions and movements are fairly common among the custodial retarded, and they may take many forms. Sometimes there are motions which seem to have no meaning whatever and may even cause unintentional self-inflicted injuries. The vast majority of the mentally retarded are intelligent enough that they can be taught a great many things. However, there's a wide range of ability even among those considered educable, and their ability to learn obviously varies according to their level of intelligence. Equally important is a stimulating environment. However, we must remember to set realistic standards that are not too high for the individual. Many of the trainable retarded can learn to take certain kinds of household responsibilities, some of which may be more complex than they are usually given credit for. It would be wrong to expect a mentally retarded person to become a master craftsman. The standards are too high. But even in the skilled trades, for example, the mentally retarded can be trained to become valuable assistants. Who are the mentally retarded? They are people. They come in both sexes and in all sizes, shapes, creeds, and colors. Wherever people live, there also live the mentally retarded.
Isn't that just hilarious? I mean, I thought it was pretty funny. I got to admit, I had a good laugh when that came out from Marty Up North, as well as Marty. It was made for Marty Up North by Contrarian Tribe. You guys can find it on Twitter if you take a search. Hilarious video. I just realized, Tiffany just pointed out during the stream. I'm gonna remove.
We've been married for almost how long, and you've spelled my name very wrong.
While putting the stream together very quickly. Apparently, this is Tiffany Smith who's joining me on stream tonight. So unless I stop the stream, I can't really fix that.
Yeah.
So my apologies to everybody noticing the misspelled words again while I was quickly getting everything ready for stream tonight. That video, I thought. Had to share it with you guys. I thought it was hilarious. Heather chiming in, these retards need to spend time in the institution and jail.
Yes.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more on that one.
Lock them up.
Brent saying Canada approves that video. Yes. Couldn't agree more. I like finding things like that for you guys on Fridays because it's meme pictures are one thing. Meme videos, they're a whole nother beast. They're just so much fun to share with you guys. And speaking of that, for our American brethren, we have another one too. If you look at Donald Trump addressing the nation last week, we all saw his address to the nation. Let's take a look at what Donald Trump had to say because a lot was missed and cut out of that broadcast. Let's take a look.
$1 million for Zelensky's matching pajama budget. Designer pajamas. He arrived at the White House looking like he was coming for a sleepover in the Lincoln bedroom. I don't think so. $200,000 for Nancy Pelosi's boob job. Have you seen these dirty bomb bags? I would say these are weapons of war. They said, sir, a war on our eyes. It looks like a skeleton is holding 2 pumpkins. We don't know how she holds them up, frankly. $250 million to see if giraffes would have a threesome with an orangutan and a polyamorous genderqueer safari tour guide in Uganda. Can you believe it? $100,000 a year to pay a night nurse to hold up Adam Schiff's head while he sleeps so his neck does not snap in half. Pencil neck is taking your tax dollars. So sad. $30 million for a study to have a fish called the tasseled wobblegong, to be on an all-vegan diet, including oat milk lattes and tofu-based chicken tikka masala in Babawawa, India. Nobody's heard of it. $170 million to feed the screaming tooth-bellied armadillo, the tooth-bellied armadillo. A 100% Wagyu steak diet to see if they would go gay in Ramarotuti, Lakakaku, Lapupa, Kenya. Nobody knows where that is. $175 million to see if the shuttle-nosed gutterfish would get an erection while watching a children's drag story hour while being fed a diet of cocaine, Cool Ranch Doritos, and Colt 45. The gutterfish, think of that. $400 million for mani-pedis for illegal immigrants who identify as cats. Think of that. $15 million to fund a Gays for Palestine protest in Gaza. They were likely thrown from a roof immediately before the drag show started. Gays for Palestine. Think of that. What is their slogan? From the river to the seaman. This is really something.
I mean, come on, guys. That one I thought was just hilarious. I love sharing that stuff with you guys. Talking about going down to Uganda. Gotta go down there while pencil neck stealing your tax dollars. Oh Gotta love it.
Now that is quite the AI video.
Zoidmo saying busting a gut, off to a great start. See, this is what Friday nights need to be about.
Friday nights.
People come in and hey, Derek, why aren't you sharing news about Canada? Why are you doing all these memes? Why are you talking nasty about people? I don't like the humor. I just want you to get to the point.
We're here for fun.
Stop with your roll calls. We don't like the roll calls. Take those.
Romper room.
So take your romper room. Go to Uganda. Not happening. Not happening. That's the end of memes this week, folks. It's the end of the good old memes, but don't fret because every week we try to find another humorous article for you guys, something that's off the beaten path of politics. Mrs. Fringe, Mrs. Fringe, she's gone looking around. She's found a great article, a wonderful article for you guys. It's going to be crazy. Showing you what's happening over in the United Kingdom as things falling apart.
Guess what? I got a fever. And the only prescription is more cowbell.
More cowbell. Here we go, guys. Mrs. Fringe is going to take it away with a really funny article for you guys this week.
Okay, so CCTV shows shoplifters using pythons to distract cashier before stealing from petrol station.
Or a gas station if you're in Canada.
Yeah. The footage shows a male suspect place one of the pythons on the counter of the petrol station in Madison County, Tennessee, before dangling a second snake in front of the cashier. So the footage shows the cashier speaking to two of the suspects. Oh my goodness, a man and woman, after they approached the counter of the Citgo store in Madison County, Tennessee. Oh, sorry. Police are hunting for four suspects who used two pythons to distract a cashier before stealing $400 worth of CBD oil from a petrol station. So in the States, they sell that stuff in the gas stations. The man is holding up a curled up ball python as the woman strokes it. At one stage, the male suspect places the reptile on the counter as the woman appears to talk to someone off camera. The man then dangles a second ball python over the counter before the video cuts out. Ball pythons are non-venomous constrictor snakes that are native to Africa and grow to a maximum length of about 1.8 meters. The CCTV footage has been shared online by 731 Crime Stoppers, a nonprofit organization in Tennessee which helps police locate wanted suspects. 731 Crime Stoppers has said the four suspects, 2 black men and 2 black women, stole $400, 308 pounds of CBD oil on the 4th of March before leaving in a black 4-door saloon car. The nonprofit organization added that the vehicle's boot was tied with bungee cords and ended its appeal with #moron.
I mean, who takes a python?
That's quite the distraction, though.
For a smash and grab. I mean, I'm speechless. I'm literally speechless when we saw this article. It's of all the things you could take with you to steal something from a store, a python. I don't know too many people who walk into stores with pythons.
I mean, they're non-venomous. People just wrap them around their neck. I mean, people do weird things all the time, but yeah, quite the distraction.
Going into the store saying, I got to have more cowbell. I need my CBD oil. Guys.
You're looking to sleep on the couch tonight, aren't you?
They got their snakes from Uganda.
Oh, I love this comment. Someone got high and thought of it. Yeah, they were probably definitely high.
You'd have to be. If you're going to steal anything with pythons, it should be CBD oil because at least it explains, what's going through your head, that you're not thinking rationally.
Yeah.
But there we go. Speaking of not thinking rationally, I want to share with you, because we already talked about Trudeau raiding the kitchen. He's already gone. He's left. He's taken off from office. Here's a photo that came out today as he was leaving. You probably saw this in the thumbnail. Good old King Tampon crying on his way out the door. Tell me this isn't staged. Tell me this isn't staged. This is the most staged photo I've ever seen in my life.
Oh, please don't cry.
Oh, Justin, it's okay. You just got booted out. You're just useless and unnecessary to this country. Canadian guy, $2 super chat. Those snakes in the I can't say it. I can't say it. Thank you for the $2 super chat. Thank you. Somebody's saying he's doing a bump. Says rigor mortis.
Poor acting.
He's probably sniffing the Governor General's panties. What he's doing. It's Jagmeet's underwear. He's sniffing Jagmeet's underwear.
My goodness.
I'm gonna miss Jagmeet. There's
what a photo op.
What a photo op with the Governor General, making it say, "Oh, I can't believe it's all over. I can't believe I'm leaving." This was posted all over social media. Mark Nixon tweeting it out saying Trudeau breaks down and cries. This is staged. This is all staged.
He is a drama teacher. He's very good at adding drama to things. He's got to pay his own bills now. I love that.
Of course, we showed the picture. An actual photo of Justin Trudeau leaving office, examining how he left the cupboards completely bare. We aren't making this up. His photographer actually posted this. I mean, what? Like, this is what our tax dollars are paying for? We're paying for. I guess this is the last of it, hopefully. bare cupboards as Trudeau leaves to make sure he's not, going to steal something else of somebody else's while he leaves.
What else can I take? The light bulbs.
Of course, as everything came to an end, Mark Carney was sworn in as Canada's current prime minister, next prime. I don't know how to put it. I really don't know how to put it because he's not an elected prime minister. I guess he was installed as Trudeau's replacement, I guess is what we can say. Carnage Carney, $5 super chat. He's crying because he's scared someone will bring in a black light and see all the spa. Oh, yikes. Canadian guy, $2 super chat. Sean Connery voice. Shuck it, Trudeau. Shuck it long and shuck it hard. Just like your mother. There we go. Thank you for the super chats, guys. Reg Porter saying, I bet he took the TP. This was the funny thing about writing How the Prime Minister Stole Freedom was that, similar to the Grinch, he took every last speck, every crumb, everything he could find on his way out the door, just like the Grinch. But of course, Mark Carney was installed today, brought in his new cabinet. We see Omar has joined the cabinet. Marco Mendicino's back. Stephen Guilbeault fired.
Yeah.
Given the boot. But I've been told he's going to be working with the Quebec government now. So essentially, he's going to be blocking pipelines, anything environmental.
More to look forward to.
Lots more to look forward to. But as we see Omar and Mendicino coming back, as well as others, Chrystia Freeland, of course, being brought back into the Liberal fold, which makes me question, what was the whole point of this leadership race that we just had? Oh, right. It was to install Mark Carney.
Yes.
It was to install Mark Carney. Not
much of a race. I mean,
a lot of people are worried about what this means moving forward for the Conservatives. It's good news, folks. I'm going to talk about that tonight. It's not doom and gloom. It's not as bad as you think it is. People are saying, well, one of the things Mark Carney did was his first appointment as Justin Trudeau's replacement was to axe the tax. He axed the consumer carbon tax, effective immediately. So hopefully, the good news coming out of this, folks, is we won't see it at the pump. Hopefully, we'll see some kind of reflection at the stores. Your utility bills are saved. In fact, you're not going to see that April 1st, April Fool's Day hike on your utility bills.
It's good.
So hopefully, I'll take a break where we can get it, right? I mean, Justin Trudeau already said we get back more than we put in, but hey, at least we're not being charged every month, although it was a big load of crap.
He said
John
that,
saying,
but that wasn't true.
We're still going to pay the carbon tax. We are, but again,
they're just going to call it something else.
Again, I'm going to show a clip about that. But again, I'll take it with a grain of salt. At least it's off our bills. At least it's off the price at the pump.
Small break,
right? We'll take the wins where we can get them. But a lot of people are saying, what does that mean for Pierre? What does it mean moving forward for Pierre? Because that was his whole platform.
Yeah.
That was the start
Tax the tax.
of
That
his
was
platform.
his big thing.
Now, again, I've got good news on that. I want to cover what Mark Carney did first, though, and we'll talk about it. Canadian guy with a $2 super chat. Carney mixes up words worse than Joe Biden. Yeah, it's terrible. Well, again, because they're lying. We covered Mary Ng this week and her ahs and ums, and she couldn't put words together because she's a compromised.
Yeah, they're trying to lie on the spot. They're not very good at it.
She's a Chinese asset, compromised Chinese asset. But let's talk about Mark Carney because I want to put everything out there in bold for everybody to understand what's going on right now. Just so everybody knows, because a lot of people were saying, so what does this mean for the carbon tax? What does it mean moving forward for everybody? Let's take a look. With a swipe of a Sharpie, Justin Trudeau's replacement, Mark Carney, reduced the price of the consumer carbon tax rate to 0, meaning Canadians will no longer be paying it for fuels. In doing so, he has also neutralized one of the Liberals' most unpopular policies before a widely expected election call. I've got more on that as well in this stream. Carney invited cameras into the cabinet room in Parliament Hill Friday afternoon to watch him sign a document zeroing out the tax rate. The gesture marked a stark departure from how Canadian leaders have typically done business in the past and was reminiscent of a scene Canadians are most used to seeing south of the border as U.S. President Donald Trump routinely invites media into the Oval Office to watch him sign executive orders. Sitting around a boardroom is kind of like setting Carney is used to, given his private sector business experience and time spent as a central bank governor in both Canada and England. Now, before we get on to that, I just want to remind you that the World Economic Forum has already been generous enough to update Mark Carney's profile on their page. Of course, it shows down here Prime Minister Designate for Office of the Prime Minister of Canada. Of course, they've got his whole history out here. Now, let's go over that resume real quick. He's the chair at Brookfield Asset Management, where he just moved everything to the United States, by the way. Bachelor's of Economics, Harvard University, Master in Economics, 1995, Doctorate in Economics, Oxford University, 13 years with Goldman Sachs in London, where he bankrupted them, Tokyo, New York, Toronto from 2003 to 4, Deputy Governor, Bank of Canada, 2004 to 2008, Associate Deputy Minister of Finance from 2008 to 13, again, where he sunk England. Governor of the Bank of Canada since July 2013, Governor of the Bank of England, Chairman, Financial Stability Board. He's also an external member of the board of Stripe, a member for the Global Advisory Board of PIMCO. Harvard University, Rito Hall Foundation, Bilderberg, the boards of Bloomberg Philanthropies, Peterson Institute for International Economics and Hoffman Institute, Global Business Society, and INSEAD, Cultivo, as well as senior counselor of the Marco Advisory Partners, advisor to the Watershed, and chairman of Chatham House, and a group of 30 and also advisory board chairs for Canada of 2020. That should scare the hell out of everybody, because if you ever want to talk about conflict of interest, it's all right there in bold. This is where I put in the title of the stream, Canada's in trouble. If you thought Trudeau was giving out a lot of contracts to his buddies, watch out.
Oh, this is gonna...
Watch out. Canadian guy, $5 super chat. If Carney needs to learn French, we should consult... he should consult...
Ananas?
Oh, the Telefranc... Oh, the Telefrancais pineapple. Oh, my God. I haven't seen that since like the 5th grade. What a member berry that is. Thank you for the super chat, wow. Canadian guy. Wow. That's, man, a lot of people aren't going to get that joke, but I
have no idea.
I grew up seeing Telefrancais in school in Manitoba, and it was nightmare fuel. It's like Sesame Street, but it's all French, and it's cheesy, and it's campy. It's terrible. Absolutely terrible. Jeez. Here we go. Let's... I'm going to have nightmares tonight. Let's get back. We've already taken a big decision on this cabinet because this is the cabinet that's focused on action. It's also focused on corruption. It's focused on getting more money into the pockets of Canadians, which we've heard that story for the last 10 years. It's focused on building this economy, he said, as he sat at the table. Based on the discussion we've had and consistent with a promise that I made and others supported during the leadership campaign, we will be eliminating the Canada fuel charge, the consumer fuel charge, immediately. Canadians on track to receive a carbon tax rebate due to be sent out next month should still expect to receive one, Carney said, which means checks should be arriving in the midst of an election campaign, which Carney is widely expected to call within the next 2 weeks. I'm going to stop you right there. Because if you look at Mark Carney, he sat outside afterwards, later today, when he was asked, when are you going to call an election? Now, people like the pleb have come out and they've said, well, planes are already getting wrapped. We're going to have an election by the end of April. And I always said, I'm going to wait until a date is counted. Now, this doesn't rule out that that's not happening, but just listen to what Carney says when asked about it. So he says they should also expect to go back in before November, and everybody starts chuckling and laughing. These are the crooks that are now in charge of the country. Before November.
When do they have to go back by?
Legally, they could take till 2026. Legally. They could say that there's an emergency because of tariffs, because of Trump, which we all know that they're riding all the way to the station. They're using Trump to prop up their votes. It could be 2026.
There was no sound?
However,
there was no sound.
There was no sound?
Video.
Was there no sound?
No sound.
Let's go back then. What is it? What is it? It says in the intro. We'll do it live. I don't know what's going on with this streaming software lately, folks. There's a lot of issues. My apologies. My apologies. Let's try this again, shall we?
Hi, Prime Minister Tom Perry with CBC. Can I ask you what your plans are for the next few weeks? Are you going to be bringing back the House? Are you going to be calling an early election? And if so, when should Canadians expect to go to the polls?
Well,
they certainly should expect to go to the polls before November. The news today is behind me. An exceptional group of individuals who are serving Canada, united, focused cabinet, focused on action, focused on the issues for Canadians. As I said a moment ago, we will be going to take some decisions which directly meet some of the objectives I set out in my remarks and we've been discussing. That's the news for today. There will be other news in the coming days with respect to ensuring that we have as strong a mandate that is needed for the time. Thank you.
So this is the same guy who said he was going to use emergency measures to pull out everything against Donald Trump. Emergency measures. Where have we heard that one before? By the way, while you're all out shopping with signs telling you what you can and can't purchase. This is where I'm saying Canada's in trouble. Again, I don't want to make this doom and gloom. There's a lot of good things coming out of this too that I want to talk about tonight. And people are already pointing out the ahs, Reg Porter said that it sounded better without the audio. I couldn't agree more. Bruffson saying all I hear is yeah, because they're lying through their teeth. He can't put a sentence together. Here's the problem: is they're all sitting there chuckling and laughing while Mark Carney says sometime before November. Now the good news with that means that as of now, there's been no statement from them saying we may hold off elections due to emergency powers until 2026. Now, keep in mind, that has to be declared as an emergency for them to do so. It's not like they can just wave a pen and say, it's done, we're waiting till 2026. But with the way they're riding Donald Trump right now, my guess is if they see favorability by doing that, we may still see that happen until a date is called. Now, when he says before November, we technically could still see an election right away. As this article says, he's widely expected to call it within the next 2 weeks. So hopefully there's enough pressure going on to get that done. Again, I'm not counting my chickens before they hatch, folks. I hope for the plebs' benefit and others that reported on planes being wrapped and that we're definitely getting an election, that it's coming. I hope that they're right, because you shouldn't be calling things like that out unless you have a concrete date. So many people in this country are fed up. They want an election. I understand that sometimes people want to be first. You know, they treat YouTube as a business.
I know, but stop putting everybody's hopes up.
Yeah, you gotta be a little more careful with those things. That I haven't seen the videos. Again, I don't watch other creators on the platform. So hopefully in those videos, the pleb mentioned that, look, take it with a grain of salt. You know, but you can't go saying we're definitely getting this, an election's happening, here it comes, and get people's hopes up just to find out that Mark Carney and his cronies are coming in and changing things all over again. It's not going to bode well for him, and I hope not, because I like the pleb. I like what he puts out. From what I've seen, again, I consider myself a friend of the pleb. I consider him a friend. I don't want to see anything bad happen to him, but don't go setting people's hopes up without concrete proof, at least a date being announced. Hopefully it comes forward. So here's what it says in the quotes. This will make a difference to hard-pressed Canadians, but in part of a much bigger set of measures this government's taking to ensure that we fight against climate change, bullcrap, that our companies are competitive and the country moves forward, Carney said. Technically speaking, Carney eliminated the consumer carbon tax through regulation, scaling back the price to zero, explained Stephen Guilbeault, who got the boot, the outgoing environment minister and the anti-oil activist who has shuffled to the Heritage Ministry on Friday. Carney signaled his plan to eliminate the tax after being sworn in as Canada's replacement for Justin Trudeau on Friday. Making good on his pledge, dealt a blow to the opposition Conservative leader, Pierre Poilievre, who has spent the past 2 years crisscrossing the country, campaigning on the pledge to axe the tax, blaming it on the higher costs of food and fuel for Canadians that they were paying. Again, this isn't going to make much of a break in terms of what we pay at the stores. You're going to see those prices fluctuate a lot because now it's tariffs, right? They're going to talk about tariffs. They're going to talk about everything that's going on in trade to try and push how stores can continue bringing in and raking in the cash. Thousands of Conservative supporters and Canadians packed the convention halls to rally around the promise that he told right-wing author and commentator Jordan Peterson back in January had become iconic. In recent weeks, however, Poilievre has been forced to shift his message away from calling for a carbon tax election in light of Canadians growing increasingly concerned about President Donald Trump and his trade war with Canada, as well as constant comments around annexation in the 51st state. So the reason I want to bring that up is because what it does now, and what the picture that is painted by that, is that what you're going to see on both sides of the spectrum is you're going to see Pierre now shifting towards Trump, which a lot of people don't like. And I hope that's not the direction they go. I hope the direction for Pierre now is to open up trade, to talking about how we fix this situation, how we make more jobs, how we lower the cost of living, lowering income taxes. I mean, we know that the Liberals essentially what have done today with the carbon taxes, it's a bold move to try and convince their voters with Trump derangement syndrome that, hey, everybody, we got your back. We got rid of the tax. Trudeau is gone. He took it with him. We're not promoting this anymore. Look how nice we are. Look at all the great things we're going to give you back. Every politician does this before an election season. They cut taxes. They give you freebies.
They're your best friend until they don't have to be anymore.
Exactly, until you sign that contract. We've talked about it a lot of times where I've compared it to cell phone companies when your contract ends. They all want to kiss your butt when it comes time for a renewal, but as soon as you do it, they don't care anymore, and you're bending over until that contract's
And all
over.
their promises are just forgotten about.
Thrown out the window.
Yeah.
So the good news coming out of that, I'm going to get into. I want to highlight one more thing before we... Hang on a second here.
We're frozen.
We're frozen again. This stupid stream software. There's nothing but problems with these things. But again, there's benefits to it as well. When asked about the elections, we're going to see more buffoonery going on in the House of Commons. Because keep in mind, Parliament's only prorogued until the 24th. Jagmeet Singh, good old sellout Singh, was asked about, are we going to see an election? Because again, he put through his letter at the end of December saying that he was calling for a non-confidence vote.
And he's usually always sticks to his word, doesn't he?
Right, he's good for his word, right, guys? He wouldn't lie to you. Take a look at this.
Mr. Singh, you mentioned that you want to pass supports for workers. Would you be willing to work with the Carney government to stay in power even after March 24th?
Right now, only 40% of workers are covered by the current EI. They don't have protection. So I want to see those measures put in place. We can make that happen rapidly. We also need an economic plan to create jobs in our own country. I want to see that plan passed first, then an election afterwards.
If it takes more time to get that plan, if it takes more time to get that plan in place, would you be open to cutting a deal with the Carney government to work through to get that plan after March?
Well, yeah, it's going to take time to get that. If that pushes the election back a bit, that's fine. For me, the priority is to get this stuff done first, and then we go to an election. If it takes more time to put in place protections for workers, to put in place an economic plan to create jobs for workers, yeah, I'm prepared to have a bit more time to get that done for workers, and then we go to an election.
And then we go to an election. So he's not calling an election anytime soon. He has no plans to call an election.
Nope. Shocking.
So this is where I'm saying that people should stop thinking that we're getting, unless Mark Carney calls one, we're not getting an election before October at the very minimum. However, let's get into the good stuff. Let's get into why this is a good thing. Because a lot of people, as we go through that article, as we talk about, look, the carbon tax was eliminated by them. It was eliminated, but it can be brought back. I'm going to show you guys another video really quick that Pierre Poilievre put out, because there's still some good things to come from Pierre Poilievre. And again, you'll have to look at the subtitles in this video because the audio is very quiet. You really have to crank it up to hear it. But it's a damning clip of the media. Keep in mind, this is government-paid media outside of Mark Carney's press conference today. Take a look at this. Hot Mike catches media admitting that because the Carney Liberals didn't actually axe the carbon tax law, again, they just reduced it to zero. Keep in mind, they can bring back the carbon tax and raise it to whatever they want, whenever they want. Signed to axe Carney's carbon tax for good. So you can see that down here. Again, I'll play the video. Keep an eye down here at the bottom for the subtitles, because again, it's really hard to hear. You have to crank it up. But let's take a look at this.
This means the carbon tax can come back.
Yeah, lower the carbon tax, they can raise it whatever they want to get.
So these are reporters that are paid by the government. They're all chuckling and laughing. They know exactly what's going on. They know the 411 on this one. They know what's going on. It's all a ruse. It's all there to make you think that, hey, Liberals got your back.
They're on our side.
Justin's gone. Sunny ways are ahead because Mark Carney is going to come in and supposedly fix everything. The problem here is that you've got, again, that bottom portion of Ontario that they have to focus on for the majority of their seats in the next election. A lot of them wrapped up in Trump derangement syndrome. So they're going to use Donald Trump between now and whenever they call an election to pump up those votes, to try and convince everybody that, look, we made your life more affordable. We reduced. Keep in mind that while people were talking about Justin Trudeau intending to resign, the words are important here. They only reduced the carbon tax to zero. Mark Carney has talked about carbon taxing steel. He's talked about how that we should be paying about 4 times more the carbon tax than we already were. It's coming back. And like people said in the chat, it's going to come back one way or another.
Oh, yeah.
Through some other form.
They'll call it something else.
They'll call it, but the good news is up until an election, until we see an election, we're not going to see much of it because they can't. They can't. They have nothing to ride on then. What they tried to do here was eliminate a lot of Pierre's platform by doing this. Again, good news coming out of that, and I'll get into that in 1 second. Canadian guy, $5 super chat. Going from Trudeau to Carney, it's like going from Prince John to the Sheriff of Nottingham. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for the super chat. I couldn't agree more. D-Ski, becoming a member for 2 months. If we had MP recall laws, would have seen change by now. Referendum on MP recall laws. Yeah. So this is one of the questions. Thank you again for re-upping your membership. This is one of the questions I asked Garnet Jennis when we had him on the channel. It was just after Alberta had introduced recall legislation. And I said, can we not see something better out of the Conservatives going to the table the next, besides axing the tax, besides building the homes? Can we see a proposition for some form of recall legislation so that people like Jagmeet Singh can't hold our country hostage in future elections? We don't want to be abused again. To which he replied, well, if we had recall legislation, you'd see MPs being recalled all the time. Now, there are rules to Alberta's recall legislation. For example, it's already been enacted one time. People tried to remove corrupt, woke, failed mayor Jyoti Gondek.
The wrong way.
They did it the wrong way. They just jumped at it to get it done instead of getting the signatures that they needed, or at least having a plan for those signatures. They did it in the dead of winter when people weren't going to be outside lining up anywhere, signing things. They wanted their 15 minutes of fame by saying, look, we're recalling. But here's the terms of the rules of that recall legislation. You're only allowed to recall one time within their term. If the vote fails, you're not allowed to do it again. So I don't see why they can't fine-tune the recall legislation and put it in for the federal government. It would be nice to see. The good news as we go into this election, ladies and gentlemen, at least for good old Fringe here, I've always complained, and I just complained in a sense, talking about Garnet Jennis, was saying that we demand better from our politicians. I'll sound like a broken record repeating myself here, but I've been saying for a long time, we demand better representation from those who are wanting the job from us. And we need to see more effort. The good news coming out of this, folks, is we're going to see one of two things happen. First off, before Mark Carney came in, Pierre Poilievre was he was on baby mode. He was on easy mode, skating to the finish line because he was able to fence sit and essentially just point out all the wrong things Justin Trudeau was doing. If you'll notice one thing about politicians these days, no matter what side they're on, in fact, my mother-in-law mentioned this earlier today. She says, I'm sick and tired of politicians always telling me what the other politician is doing and not telling me what they're going to do for me. And that's one of the things that's been going on with Pierre Poilievre's easy mode skate here.
Yes,
is that
it's an attack instead of, here, let me tell you how I'm going to help you.
Right. So Pierre has been saying, I'm going to get rid of the tax that Justin has. I'm going to build the homes that Trudeau hasn't built. We're going to put in incentives to, try and motivate cities to actually follow our orders and not fall into, different plans that aren't going to work for its people. Now you're going to have to see between now and an election, Pierre's camp pivot. And Pierre now cannot fence sit anymore. He's going to have to bust his ass. And he's going to have to come out swinging if he wants to win this election. A lot of people are fearful that Carney axing the tax really puts a damper on Pierre's move ahead. And not because of people with common sense, not because of the conservative voters that were already going to vote for Pierre, but it's again that pocket of Ontario, Quebec, where those votes really matter, where Mark Carney now has an advantage by pointing out Donald Trump at every second turn while also making their lives better by reducing the carbon tax, not axing it. Again, Pierre can still push to axe it altogether, to say it's not going to be law. But as Justin Trudeau even said in one of his last press conferences, they wanted to put in senators. They wanted to do all these things to ensure a lot of laws that they put through were going to be very difficult to undo. Pierre can axe the tax, but unless he puts through some form of legislation to say it can't come back, and I don't even think he legally can do that, it's no different than Mark Carney reducing it to zero.
And even if he could, they'll just come back and call it something else. It's not to say that they're never going to bring back a new tax.
Yeah, Terry Lee's saying Carney's just pausing the tax to be raised at his whim. That's the difference again from he lowered it to zero, reduced it to zero.
Tease, you know,
Yeah.
you like me now because I'm doing something for you, but
The old carrot on the stick.
yeah,
Right? Here we go. So Mark Carney's going to use the next 6 months to try and dangle that carrot for all the people with Trump derangement syndrome to say, look, your fuel's gone down, your heating bills have gone down, your electricity bills have gone down. I'm here because I love you. I care about you.
enjoy being able to live a little bit easier for a little bit.
I'm your best friend. If you still can't afford life, it's not because of me, it's because of Orange Man Bad. It's Donald Trump who's ruining your life.
But
right?
wait.
They don't bother saying we're the ones who caused this problem to begin with our open borders and all the immigrants that we allow in here.
We
the crime.
chose not to fix our problem, so now we're at a tariff war.
There you go. Canadian guy, $5 super chat. Carney might have shot himself in the foot with his $80 million donation to Al Qaeda. Yeah, I'm going to talk about that in another video. But a very good point.
Join us next week.
Same bad time, same bad channel. No, it's this is good news for us who wanted more from the Conservatives.
Yeah.
Because now they have to change their platform. With Mark Carney trying to, and people always said, well, Pierre doesn't want to talk about what he's doing because they're just going to copy it. They're just going to do what he's doing. Pierre now has no choice but to come out and show people what he really has in the bag, what he's really prepared.
The people are begging for it.
For Canada.
They have to step up.
I saw something about Danielle Smith. Who said
I did
something
see
about
that
Danielle?
too. There you go.
MK Archives. Danielle Smith should threaten Canada. Wait. Should threat Canada like Jolie does, stating all options are on the table. That would maybe make Carnage being more careful. So it's true that Alberta has precedency over its oil. It doesn't belong to Canada. It belongs to Alberta, which is the reason for the transfer payments. I'm not sure the legal laws and boundaries. I know that there's mass repercussions if she were to turn off the taps. But Danielle has the one thing that she could be threatening, and that's sovereignty. Removing ourselves from Confederacy. She can easily say the same as Quebec did. We're going to hold a referendum if you don't want to work with us, and we're going to leave Canada.
Yeah.
She'll never do it. Don't think that I'm saying she's going to. She'll never do it.
No.
She's been very clear that she doesn't intend to do that at any point in time.
But a lot of us are done with those payments. Like, it's just not. We should be thriving here.
John saying we need more cowbell from the cock of the walk, baby. That's what Danielle needs. She needs to come in and go, I got a fever. And the only prescription is Alberta separation. How? Laura saying, who here wants to leave? Here's the thing. What you're seeing in Alberta, at least what I hear when I go out, when I'm around people, when I'm talking to people, I always talk about how when I was growing up, you're always told that it's rude to talk politics in front of people. It's inappropriate. But nowadays, it's all people talk about. It's part of the reason this channel exists, because everybody's talking about what's going on with corrupt governments in our banana republic.
I hear it in the elevator at work. It's everywhere.
Everybody's talking about it. The thing that we're noticing, and the thing that I'm seeing when I go out, is a lot of people are talking about the possibility in Alberta of separation. And it's not because Albertans don't want to be Canadian. It's not because we don't want to live here anymore. It's because we don't feel like we have any other choice. The government has pushed us into such a corner when it comes to Quebec treating us like ingrates, saying, you're never going to be allowed to get your products to market. We're going to block everything you ever want to do. We're going to keep our boots on your neck, but keep giving us billions of dollars every year. The federal government saying, we're never going to allow pipelines. We're never going to allow you to get your products to market. We're going to keep our boots on your neck, but keep giving your money to Quebec. So Albertans are at a point where they're saying, if that's the way it's going to go, then if we're never going to get a change, if we're never going to get a fair play, if we're not going to have the ability to unleash our economic power, our economic potential, then why don't we just get the hell out of here? Especially when you look at what's going on with the federal government right now. I took a lot of heat when I came out and said everybody needs to get a Liberal membership. Everybody should vote against Mark Carney. There was a reason for that. It wasn't just to try and get people to vote and sway the vote and remove Mark Carney, because I knew one of two things was going to happen. Either we could put in somebody the way they do by installing somebody very weak to run against Pierre.
Yep.
Or else option B, which is what happened, that a lot of these YouTubers calling for this would gain steam. And you would see the true colors as they came out and showed their corruption full force by eliminating people from the race and saying, we're going to install Mark Carney. And it's exactly what happened. They've shown their true colors.
Yep.
So no matter what carbon tax they deliver, reduction, no matter what they promise Canadians, we've all seen full force that they're prepared to cheat by any means necessary to put who they want in charge and continue to be governed or to govern this country without a mandate from real people. It's out in the open now. So while everybody screams and says you made the wrong call.
But let's hope there are enough Canadians that will wake up and see this, because we need that vote. Sorry.
I don't think a wrong call was made by doing those Liberal memberships, because now it's out in the open. We've seen it in real time. Ruby Dalla was disqualified. Chandra Aira was disqualified. They kept the money. The other three didn't even run against Mark Carney.
No.
They just stood there and looked good while Mark was installed.
Yep.
I mean, when you look at, again, we had a video this week talking about the results. Ezra Levant pointed out, Chrystia Freeland couldn't even win her own riding. She only got 1,100 votes in her entire riding, and she's been there for over 10 years.
Yeah.
Karina Gould couldn't get over 1,000 votes in her own riding, yet she raised a record amount of money. How does that happen? How do you raise all that money and get no votes? Corruption.
Yeah.
And it's all out there front and center for everybody to look at now. And if I was Pierre Poilievre running against them, I would switch tracks here. I would start pushing and again showing people, here's what we're actually going to do. He's going to have to work real hard to convince people the Conservatives are the right choice. And that's good, because I want to see what they really are willing to offer us besides reversing Trudeau.
Yeah.
I want to see, what are you going to, it's the old, what was it, Janet Jackson song? What have you done for me lately? What are you going to do for me for the next 4 years? Not just as soon as you get in office.
No.
I like his ideas. I'm not saying they're bad ideas.
Absolutely not.
But what I'm saying is now he's going to have to stop fence sitting, and you're going to have to see some teeth if you want to win this from Mark Carney. They're going to have to get smart with how they're going to do this and how they're going to convince those voters in Ontario they're worth voting for. They're going to have to pull out all the stops. I welcome it. I can't wait to see that platform. I still think that Pierre stands a good chance of becoming prime minister.
Yeah, I want it in writing too, Reagan. I want it in writing.
Phone saying, I'll be clear. I do not want 51st states.
No.
We go at our own. I think so.
Yeah.
I think that things are about to get really exciting in the political sphere. And everybody here, while the stream is called that Canada's in big trouble, it is in big trouble if we don't take control and switch course. We are at the precipice of one of the most exciting times in politics. We're going to start seeing what those who wish to hold on to power or those who wish to gain power are willing to give people in order to get that seat. And we're in for the fight of our lives. And I, for one, am very excited to bring you guys everything that's happening in that race and to show you everything that these guys are doing. Again, I think the Conservatives are going to pull out all the stops here. They have
100%.
to. They have to. Reg with a $5 super chat. I pray that our next election isn't corrupt like the Liberal leader election. You know what? The pleb was talking about it today. And one of the things he said was, we have to make this like US. We have to make it too big to rig.
Yep.
That's where I'm saying the Conservatives have to switch tracks here. They've got to change how they're going to do things, or else they're just going to roll over and die. It's their election to lose at this point if they're not prepared to put in the work. It was easy mode with Justin Trudeau. Now the challenge begins. Mark Carney's trying to ice skate uphill, and it's not going to work out for him if Pierre, which Pierre has shown many times how smart he is, how quick he is, how educated he is. I feel like if he really applies himself here, he can surprise Canadians and start showing them a real reason to vote for him instead of just pandering, instead of just going with the flow and trying to do what he thinks people want to hear him say. He's going to have to show some teeth. And I, for one, am looking forward to it because we're about to see the real Pierre Poilievre, not fake Pierre Poilievre, not PR Poilievre. We're going to see the real deal.
Oh, yeah. It'll be good. It'll be a good show.
It's going to be a bloodbath. Slobber knocker. It's going to be it's going to be big, folks. Canadian guy, $5 super chat. I still think Pierre can win. Carney will choke worse than Austin Matthews.
Can only hope.
I hope so. Pierre Poilievre, he's going to have to sit there and think almost in a Rocky form where you're going to feel like you're getting beat up, kid. You're going to feel like you're down. And when you're laying down and you got nothing left, this little angel, he's going to tap you on your shoulder. And he's going to say, get up, you son of a bitch, because Canada loves you. I think that's what we're going to see. I think that's what we're going to see in this next election. I think we're going to see Pierre coming out swinging. Mark Carney, while you're going to try to destroy this country over the next 6 months,
100%.
You're about to get knocked the hell out in ways that never could be described. If you guys thought the Freedom Convoy was big, where we showed what Canada had left, what Canada thought was out of the tank, where we were losing out of the tank, where there was no hope left, and then all of a sudden these trucks appear out of nowhere, flooding towns, showing people that true Canadian spirit is still around.
It's going to happen. It's going to come back.
I have a feeling we're going to see that spirit of this country emerge again as soon as Pierre shows his teeth. You're going to see this be too big to rig in Canada. And I think we're going to see Pierre not only have to show what he's got, but he's going to have to keep his word. This is awesome news. If Pierre would have won against Justin Trudeau, I think we would have had safe Pierre. I think we would have had, hey, look, Trudeau's gone. We just got to uphold a few promises. We've got our agendas. We're going to just play it safe for the next few years, convince people that we're doing a good job, and hopefully we get a second mandate. Now Pierre is going to have to say, look, we just got in. Now we got to bust our ass.
Mm-hmm.
Now we got to show people that we're worth keeping around for a while, or else it's going to go right back to square one.
100%. And everything they fix is going to go right back.
In 1 month, $6,000 Frequent hygiene receipts. Yeah, I shudder to think what the world's going to look like under Mark Carney. If he were to win a 4-year mandate, all the globalists, all the elites that he's friends with, you think Dalian and GC Strategies were big deals? Think about the contracts he's about to give out. The thing you have to realize in all of this is Carney wins no matter what. He just moved his company to the United States. He just cost Canadians a shit ton of jobs. Because if Canada goes down the toilet, his company gains because they're in the US. If he wins the election, he can do backdoor deals. He can line his pockets. But if Pierre wins and things stabilize and our dollar gains some steam and we unlock our economic potential, think of how shitty life is going to be for Mark Carney. Shelley re-upping her membership. Liberals want to bring nuclear arms from Britain to Canada. Make Canada the next Ukraine?
I hope not.
I hope not. Mark Carney's a malfunctioning robot, says Larry. 2030 agenda is still moving forward. Well, again, what you're going to see here, what you're really going to see in Canada, and again, this is good news because I know I sound like a broken record. Think about Trudeau running again. Like, I would have loved to have seen Trudeau get knocked out by Pierre in an election. I would have loved Trudeau to have to come out and say, I lost. To watch those numbers go down the toilet.
Those would be real tears.
It'd be real tears. But the thing is that with Mark Carney in there, Pierre can't skate through. He can't go easy. He's going to have to show real promise. And not only that, he's going to have to hold that promise. He's going to have to be accountable when he gets into office. This is the best solution we could have asked for. The next few months are really going to suck with Mark Carney at the helm, but the risk is worth the reward if we get Pierre into office. Because things like 2030, even if Pierre was behind it, he can't move forward with. He can't produce those things or push for those things or say, well, you know, we gotta kind of go with what was in the framework because there's benefits to it. None of that. People aren't going to have any of it. He's going to have to do a massive shift here if he wants to win, because he can't use Donald Trump. The Liberals have already manipulated that and divided enough that if Pierre jumps on that bandwagon, he's going to sound just like the Liberals. So what Pierre has to do right now is a complete rebrand. I can't wait to see it, because I think it's going to be what everybody wants. I really do. Minority government would suck. I don't think it's going to go that way. I don't think it's going to go that way. I think you're going to see a conservative majority. Again, it's their election to lose. If they don't get a majority at this point, it's because they didn't do the work. It's still like a fence-sitting election. Pierre can still get in very easily. He just has to make the right calls. He's got to stop playing it safe. He's got to take some risks. He's got to say what everybody's thinking but is too afraid to say.
He's got to fight for Canada.
If he really wants to put Canada first, show me. Show me. Show the rest of these people what putting Canada first really means. No more pandering.
No.
No more slogans. No more bending the knee. No more jumping on the same train as the Liberals.
He needs Danielle's balls.
That'd be nice. Carbon Tax Carson, $10 super chat. Pierre needs a new axe to tax. He should focus on call out the corruption. Call out the Liberal money laundering. Might go a long way. It would with me. Again, he can do those things, but I'd rather him talk about the things he's going to fix rather than, again, like I said, my mother-in-law mentioned today, which I really didn't think about in that context.
Yeah.
But stop telling me what they're doing and start telling me what you're going to do. Tell me what ideas you have. Tell me what you're bringing to the table.
We know what they're doing.
We know what
wrong.
they're doing. We're fed up with it. We're sick of it. David with the $5 super chat. You're right, Derek. Pierre is up for a much tougher fight going against Carney, which might be a good thing.
Yeah.
We're going to see some teeth. I want to see teeth. Up North 49 saying, Derek, do you think the numbers of new Liberal members was Conservatives trying to sway? No, I don't. If you're talking about in the leadership race, look, Chandra Era was trending at one point on Twitter. Ruby Dalla was trending. There was 400,000 registrants and only 150? 110,000 of them were allowed to vote. Keep in mind that when Pierre ran for his leadership race, 300,000 people voted in that one.
Yeah.
Again, it just shows you how far they're willing to go to flaunt the corruption in your face. Those are the things Pierre should be bringing out while discussing what he's going to do for us. Saying you can't even trust them to run a leadership race properly. They disqualify anybody who runs against the person that they want to get in office, the person they want to install. All these MPs left Justin Trudeau because the corruption was starting to show. And as soon as Mark Carney comes back, he brings them all back in. What do you think he's going to do to your country?
Yeah.
Those are the attack points Pierre needs. He has to stop blaming Trump and start blaming the liberals and say, there's 5 million people in this country right now that shouldn't be here. I'm going to kick all of them out. And I'm closing the doors for a while until we handle our business, until we have homes, until we have jobs, until we vet those coming into the country to make sure they're secure. And if you break the law while you're here, you're not going into a prison with our tax dollars giving you 3 meals a day. You're getting the boot out of here. You're being extradited, and your country that probably has barbaric laws can figure out what to do with you when you get off the plane.
Yeah.
Those are the things he needs to do. Nilok with $2 super chat. We need Pitbull Pierre, not Pander Polyev.
Yeah.
There it is. Maybe we should put that on a t-shirt. Pitbull Pierre.
Yes.
Pitbull.
Pitbull.
Nobody
can talk. We're doing bad tonight. We weren't even drinking.
PP needs to say exactly this. I'm waiting, says Zoidmo.
Yeah.
This is where I'm saying he'll need a rebrand.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's no longer Axe the Tax. It's not an Axe the Tax election. What this should be is the future of Canada. Canada first. It should be a Canada first election. Not Team Canada, Canada first. Canadians first. You don't bring people in and say, take all of our jobs. We talked about Miller bringing in all the, what was it, 6,000 trades workers to build our homes. We don't want their homes. Get on a plane and go back to your country. Let's train our own tradespeople.
Yeah.
Get the hell out. You don't do that.
Hire in-house. Trade in-house.
I don't want their shoddy houses.
No.
I want Canadian houses built by Canadians.
Train the people.
Snatch saying, I can imagine third world prison is not an upgrade over Canadian prison. The smells. Well, it's somebody saying you need a Trump-like candidate. Well, this is the time. Look, you guys have seen the intro where that one guy, while Pierre was eating his apple, saying you're taking the Trump path. Pierre was already partially on it before his PR people said, let's switch it up. Let's pander. He still has a chance.
He does.
Now, I get he's a career politician. I get that we don't trust our politicians. But what I'm talking about here is the betterment of Canada. We're about to go into an election. There is no Trump-like candidate. And the best of what we have is Pierre. Max isn't going to be there. For anybody saying Max, he doesn't even have a seat. He's the same as that meme that was going around about Mark Carney. The difference between Carney and a toilet's got a seat. Max doesn't have a seat. I'm sorry. That's just reality. If you like Max, I'm happy for you. I think the PPC has some good policies, but until they actually get a seat, we can't get anything from them, so stop splitting the vote. Max is only there to divide everybody and split the vote for the Liberals so that he's got a stronger platform. Anybody that follows Max, follow Max, vote for Max once he gets a seat, once he's showing promise for a seat. You can't campaign from Florida and convince me that you deserve a seat in Canada. I'm sorry, Max. I consider him a friend. We've spoken together before, but you can't do that.
No.
You just can't. Get a seat. Show me you mean business. Run in a riding where you know you can get a seat, not in rural Manitoba. And then we can talk. Until then, guys, stop splitting the vote. Start voting for what this country needs. Anything but the Liberals or the NDP. Anything. I know I've probably pissed off a lot of PPC supporters.
You need to get positive again. This is Friday nights.
This is positive. We're getting our country back.
You're getting angry, Rant Derek.
Oh, guys, I got a fever. And the only prescription is more Pierre.
Guess what? I got a fever. And the only prescription is more cowbell.
More cowbell, guys. There we go. What we got here? Maxime has been a disappointment as personally, as a personality. He comes across as lazy. Again, get a seat. Max has been pushing for a seat for what, since 2019, 2018? And he doesn't have it yet 6 years, 7 years later. There's a reason for that, guys. Again, nothing against Max as a person. I actually like some of his policies. But the grift has to end at some point. You gotta start thinking logically about if 100,000, 200,000, 300,000 people give votes to the PPC when they don't even have a seat, you might as well just rip it in half and throw it in the toilet. We have to make this election too big to rig. But we also have to see the work from Pierre. We have to see Pierre come out swinging.
Yep.
He's going to have to fight for this election like he wants this more than anything else in the world. And he's got to be prepared to do what Canadians expect of him.
Stop taking the easy route.
No more fence sitting. No more slogans. Fire your PR people.
Fight for this.
Get some real people managing your platform. People who know what Canadians want, what they deserve, where they can calculate how you're going to keep those votes in Ontario while also say what everyone's thinking, but everyone's too scared to say in public.
Yeah.
That's what we need.
Listen to what the people want. They want angry Pierre.
Americans just went through the same thing. Follow the Trump blueprint, says Tom. Absolutely. Absolutely. Canadian Patriot saying, as a former PPC candidate, I support the platform, but Max will never be PM. There you go. Thank you for that comment, because you know what? I get flack from a lot of people whenever I talk about Max like that. As people say, oh, I like Max. How dare you say that?
I like Max too.
You just like pandering full-time politicians, like career politicians. I like whatever's going to make my life easier.
Yeah. And everybody should.
That's it. I've said it before. My wants out of a government are pretty simple. Let me make a living. Let me afford my life. Tax me appropriately if you're going to.
Yeah.
And use my dollars wisely. And stop feeling like you have control over what I can and can't do in my own private life. Stop telling me.
Free country should feel like a free country.
Yeah, stop trying to take control of my life. I went past a liquor store today, and you see the Buy Canadian signs out front. I went into the grocery store to pick up some stuff. I had to pick up cat food today, and I went to the till, and the guy says, oh, you know that brand's American? I said, good. He says, oh, you like buying American? I said, I like buying what I can afford.
Yeah.
Sorry, I went through this draconian bullshit 3 years ago during COVID. I'm not doing it again. I'm not jumping on your train. I'm not buying the shit you're shoveling. It's over. I'm not taking the bait.
I'm all about supporting our country, but I need to be able to feed my kids too.
I can't believe that they've introduced this nonsense to our country with, oh, we're going to cover up things on the shelves. We're going to stop people from seeing American products. And people are so sheepish to get sucked into it again and say, oh, no problem. I'll just buy the rhetoric. Because I'm Canadian after all. I'm unpatriotic if I don't support it. It's no different than we're all in this together.
Yeah.
Get it or you're selfish. Get the jab or you're selfish. You're killing your family member. Give me a break. Don't be sheep, guys. Think for yourselves. I can buy Canadian products while being given the choice of what I want to buy. I don't need the government telling me how to live my life. Sorry.
They're not there to control us.
Canadian guy, $5 super chat. We need Parliament back. Then Pierre will really shine. Carney is going to crash and burn in the House of Commons.
Yeah.
You know what? It's a very good point. Very good point. I want to highlight one comment that was underneath it because Sandy says it here. I'm a very committed PPC supporter. I'm voting Pierre to support my fellow Canadians.
Yeah.
Perfect. Couldn't have said it better. Thank you. When you look at Pierre in the House of Commons, when you look at Mark Carney with his speeches and his he's worse than Justin Trudeau. How do you think he's going to manage in question period? How do you think he's going to be able to hold his own against Pierre and the Conservatives? This is where I'm saying, guys, it's about to be a bloodbath. Things are about to get spicy, nasty, real nasty. And we're going to see Pierre giving it 110%, or we're going to see them roll over and die. It's going to be one of the two. People have been saying for a long time they feel Pierre is controlled opposition. We're about to find out. His behavior is going to tell you one of two things. He's either controlled opposition or he's in for the fight of his life. It's his election to lose. I know I keep saying that, but just remember that as we go into the House of Commons at the end of the month. Dude's got to come out ready for the knockout punch. What happened to the stream? Did it freeze again? My God, this software. I'm going to have to I'm gonna have to reach out to StreamYard. I know what's going on. Carney's gonna get slapped. Yeah, I sure hope so. That would be awesome. I sure hope so. Is anybody looking forward to the French debates? I'm gonna laugh so hard.
Oh,
I think it's gonna be great. Yeah, John's saying the stream looks good, so it freezes on my end.
yeah.
You guys are still able
We
to
see
see.
it.
You guys are able to see everything as normal, but the screen freezes, the chat freezes. It's the software that we're. It's just so it's good software for when you want to do like the media, when you want to bring in like shared screens and stuff. I don't trust OBS, but I'll have to do something here because we pay for this every month, and I'm not gonna keep paying for a crappy product. Darren saying I was in No Frills Spruce Grove today. I'm very disappointed to see the Canadian signs marking products. I'd buy. Here's the thing. Here's the way I stand on it. If I go to a store and the government thinks that by putting stickers on things, they're going to convince me to buy that product over something else just because it's virtue signaling for Canada, I'm probably more poised at that point to purposely buy American just to give them the finger.
Yeah, but
say you can't control me.
I always go by price.
It's always by price. If you want to make every Canadian product 50% cheaper than American products, yeah, I'll buy Canadian until
100%.
I'm blue in the face.
But
I don't care.
Oh, I'm getting sore.
Azrael, $2 super chat. PP is the only chance for Canada as an American. Absolutely. North 49 with a $5 super chat. I'm done virtue signaling. This is the government of a country, not an OnlyFans account.
Yes.
There you go. Wow. Very well
Love
said.
that.
Love it. Love it. John saying by price first, finger second. There you go. Derek, you should get Elon to take a look at
Look at the PC.
I'll just call up Elon. Call Big Balls. Tell him to come over. Look at my computer. There's something wrong with it. There's a Justin Trudeau virus. Governor Trudeau has impregnated my computer. I don't know what's happening with it. Mark Carney's overflowed it with carbon tax. I can't get it to work properly. Elon, come fix my computer. Oh, Amy's saying they couldn't kill our spirit, just the country as we knew it. The good news with that statement, Amy, our spirit is this country.
Yeah.
And all it's going to take is, just like the convoy, it's going to take that one spark to reignite it. And that's, again, where the ball is in Pierre's court. I really hope he takes full advantage of it. Again, we're going to see as things move forward. It's going to be real interesting in politics. Real interesting. So while everybody says Mark Carney coming in is terrible news, it's bad news, as I even said at the beginning of the stream, yes, we are in trouble. If things don't change.
Yeah.
This is the time that we fight for it. We got to get involved. We got to be active. We got to push. I will give you my solemn promise right now that unless absolutely necessary, I will not crap on the Conservatives any further until an election is done. I will do what I can on this platform to push for Pierre in hopes that we see some change in this country. So you guys have my promise on that. So you guys can put down your torches and pitchforks for a while. It's not gonna happen. David with a $5 super chat. Unfortunately, Carney won't be in the House because he doesn't have a seat. But the Conservatives will use that as an attack. Absolutely. Absolutely. Gerald saying, I got that spark. Good to see it. Let's get it up. Debbie saying, what's up with that no Canadian flag at the ceremony? You'd have to ask them. I thought they were Team Canada, right?
Sorry about squishing you.
That being said, ladies and gents, we're way over time tonight. Because I just wanted to push to show you guys things aren't as bad as it may seem.
Happy Friday.
Happy Trudeau leaving day. Let's get into the Q&A. Let's wrap it up with a Q&A. Throw in your Q&A, guys. Come on, throw in your Q&A. Tell me what you want to talk about. Guys, just no more cowbell.
No more cowbell.
And no complaining either. Peter Griffin's left the building.
You know what really grinds my gears?
Nothing's going to grind my gears. We're not going to grind my gears no more. Derek is saying overtime because he's frisky. Oh, God, I'm not frisky.
Well, we do start the Only Fringe later, so. Miss Fringe, how long do you think it'll take you to get a new job?
How long do you think it'll take you to get a new job? I wish you the best in your search.
Sure. I mean, I'll start really hammering down once we're there, settled after a few weeks.
I think Mrs. Fringe is going to take
not long.
a few weeks to hang out. She's going to be on YouTube a little bit more with us. She's going to be in more live streams. She's going to hopefully stick around for some content.
Yep.
Because if she's going to be home, she might as well join the Fringe. She might as well be around for a while.
But I do need to find a job.
She does need to find it. She doesn't want to be around me forever. She'll kill me, guys.
I will.
She can't work with me.
I will.
This here, what you're seeing on these streams, this is about the limit of Mrs. Fringe. She'll kill me if she spends any longer with me.
Just a little bit.
Nah, she'll find something.
I will.
She'll find something. The good news is that when we sold the house, we had enough set aside that we said, look, you can take your time, find something you like.
I've got good skills. Somebody will want me.
You got some skills. CB asking, what drink are you going to toast the turd leaving the PM's office? I don't really know, because here's the thing. I'm a little underwhelmed. Like, I thought the day Trudeau left, I'd be doing backflips and happy.
But party in the streets.
It's kind of like we flushed the turd, but then got a backdraft
we got a floater.
Crap coming back. Like, it's a happy day, but it's kind of at the same time. It's like the smell of shit still lingers in the air. From Mark Carney.
Such a great analogy. I love it.
Can they change it so no appointed selection can happen again?
They should.
Again, they could try to introduce recall legislation, I would think. At least I'm assuming, because if Alberta provincially could introduce a recall legislation, why couldn't they federally? It's tough to say. Canadian guy, $5 super chat. What do you call 25 millionaires watching the Stanley Cup? The Leafs. How? There we go. Awesome super chat. Thank you very much. JD, Miss Fringe works in oil and gas, but you never say what her job title would be. Is it that important? I
do like contracts admin, executive admin, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I don't understand why that matters, but
so if you're hiring,
it's a job's a job.
Yeah.
You could just say I work in that industry. I don't know why everybody needs the specifics.
Because maybe they know.
That obsessed with Mrs. Fringe. I don't know.
Mrs. Fringe is awesome.
Miss Danny says, I refuse to watch the swearing-in ceremony. Swear allegiance to King Charles? Yeah, he did. A lot of people asked, are you going to stream that? No, because I wanted to throw up in my mouth.
I was one of those people that asked, actually.
Gerald saying, Derek and Tiffany, I'm going door knocking for the Conservatives. Are you happy for me?
Yes.
I mean, I'm happy for anybody who gets involved.
Gerald.
I think anybody getting involved is a good thing. It's look, don't do it for me. Do it because you want a better country.
Yeah.
Do it because you back the party and you believe in it. I know they could use the help. I know, again, I had a chat with Stephanie Cousy this week and told her that even though I'm leaving her riding, she'll still have my endorsement. I think Stephanie's an amazing MP. I think she does a great job.
Yep.
I said the same thing with Rebecca Schultz because she was my MPP, I guess, the provincial in my area. I think Rebecca Schultz does a great job with Danielle as well. But Stephanie still has my endorsement. I'm going to be curious to see my MP for Spruce Grove. I know some people have asked, are we ever going to go over there and ask them some questions? I'd like to. Did Carney have to take a security clearance like they want PP to? I'm assuming he did when he was privied. I'm not sure. I'll look into that. Rich saying, do you like pipeline companies, Tiffany?
Yeah.
What am I thinking of when somebody says that? You like Dags?
You like Dags?
You guys
I
ever
like
watch
Dags.
Snatch? Brad Pitt. Hey, you like Dags? John saying, vote by your choice. Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Hannibal saying, I'm door knocking for the Liberals so I can inform people of their many scandals.
Yeah.
Whatever floats your boat, man.
Remember when?
Kash Patel is reportedly seeking to charge Trudeau due to him giving up his U.S. national secrets via Five Eyes. I mean, again, I'll believe it when I see it. A lot of things float around this. Was asking because I know people in the industry. That's fine.
See, I told you.
Look, there's a lot of people, JD, what you got to understand is there's a lot of people who hammer on me in these chat because, oh, you didn't give us the information we asked for. Oh, we wanted to know this. Why aren't you telling us everything?
Thank you. I could use the help.
I do have to ask sometimes. It just seems like a really weird. Why won't you tell us?
No, thank you.
Give us
We
the
appreciate
codes.
it.
Arthur, okay, $2 super chat. When is Dragon's Lair interview? Listen, Dragon's Lair
Coming up.
Dragon Lair
It's coming up.
schedule is a little booked with the move coming up and everything.
He's still here.
Still hanging out, still showing an appearance.
Maybe not next weekend.
We'll have to get Dragon's Lair machine in here at some point to talk with everybody. I know Arthur's really looking forward to it.
Is that you or the okay?
Mike TV Dub saying, I hope Cash delivers on that. Me too. Me too. George saying, congratulations on the move. All the best. Thank you very much. Looking forward to it. Corey saying,
saw you guys in my yearbook.
When? Hang on a second here. When are you guys moving to Spruce Grove? I would like to meet both of you. We're moving at the end of the month, but we will. So we're moving in like a week and a half. We will announce a meet and greet at some point.
We're going to do a meet and greet with all of our Spruce Grove, Edmonton people, everybody in the area.
As soon as we get settled.
Just like we did here in Calgary.
We'll set that up. Hoser saying, I saw you guys in my yearbook. I know Hoser was saying in the last stream, graduated the same year as my wife.
I looked horrible in my yearbooks.
Went to high school. I don't know if you would have seen me in there, depending on the year, I guess. I wasn't allowed to get a grad photo or graduate. In fact, I was stricken from their grad list.
Because you impregnated a student.
Because Mrs. Fringe held me down and made me knock her up in high school. I did not have a say.
You tripped and fell.
She's very forceful. School was a little disgusted with it. Reg saying Spruce Grove has many pipeline companies.
It does, yes.
Yes.
I'm very, very much looking forward to the area. So
yes.
That was actually one of the things leading to is that
Debbie saying, when are you going to write your new bestseller, Carnival Carney Lies? So I was working on Every Carnival Needs a Carney, or Every Circus Needs a Carney. Unfortunately, with the move, things got a little jumbled up. It's really hard to be a full-time dad at home, managing a YouTube channel, doing merch, doing all these things that other people, because I'm in the middle
in the process.
I'm in the middle of moving merch to a new site and doing all these other things. It's hard to do it all while packing, selling a house. So my apologies for the delay on that book. It is coming. I'll have a date announced as soon as we can get it moving. John saying everyone's a detective on the internet. You have to tell me about it. It's crazy. You guys moving to Brooklyn or Staten Island? Neither. Forget about it.
Is that your only New York thing?
No.
Okay.
Can't your wife sit beside you instead of behind? She is sitting beside me.
Kind of. It's just this chair is so high my knees hit the table.
Yeah. I don't. So a lot of people make comments about that think that, you know, I make my wife sit a certain way because it's better for the camera, or I do the look. Mrs.
Fringe is very fidgety. I need like something.
Miss Fringe makes up her own decision. I don't tell Mrs. Fringe what to do on these streams.
I'm a big girl. Yeah. Hoser.
When is the government getting back to work? I mean,
who knows?
That's the age-old question.
Never.
What came first, the chicken or the egg? Did you see Pierre's face when he heard Freeland and Gould's riding numbers? No, Colleen, I didn't. But again, this is good things for him to bring up when he comes out against Carney now, is that, look, you can vote for the Liberals. It's great that they've reduced the carbon tax to zero. They didn't axe it. But he should be mentioning that this is the corruption we're going to get. Then bring up all their scandals, bringing up everything that's gone on since day one with Trudeau, that this is just more of the same. Question everything. The Alberta 51st State Movement is going to gain a lot of traction if the Liberals win a fourth term in a row. Albertans are very tired of the abusive relationship we've had with Ottawa for decades, says PJ. I agree. Because again, like I said, I'm not pushing for one thing over the other. I know what I hear when I go out, and a lot of people I see a lot of people wearing 51st State merch and talking 51st State stuff all the time. Twitter is flooded with it.
I want Canada back first before that's even considered.
I think if we saw another Liberal government, I think Albertans would just feel a loss of hope, that they'd say we don't have any other choice. I think that's why they'd push.
Are we doing a goodbye in Calgary? Technically, we kind of did last year when we thought we were going to sell in November. We did kind of like a hello, goodbye kind of thing.
Yeah, we did when we potentially sold the house in October, we did a meet and greet. We won't have time to do a goodbye in Calgary because we've only got this upcoming week and then we move on the 26th. So it's like less than 2 weeks left in Calgary. We won't have time to put that together, but we will be back in Calgary.
Oh yeah.
Very often. My family's here. Our friends are here. We're coming back. It's only 3 hours. We will do meet and greets in Calgary as well still. So we will organize those in the future. So not all is lost.
No.
David Brewer, will you be putting back up that animated pixel screen you always had behind you in the new studio?
Yes.
I liked seeing that was displayed during the lives on your vids. I'm going to try to. It again depends because, as I've said, I'm building a new set. Or at least a new background when we move.
What he's saying is that when you get boring, he zones out.
I'm going to have some cool stuff on the set, but I'm also moving my main arcade up to its own room in the house. Mrs. Fringe has been generous enough to give me the den in our new house for my arcades. So Dragon's Lair will still hang out on the Unacceptable Fringe set. But as for all that other stuff, I'm going to kind of figure out what works where and everything else.
It'll take a while to shuffle things around and get it sorted, but we'll figure it out.
I've already talked designs with Mrs. Fringe. I can promise you there's going to be cool things on the set if those frames don't make it.
It'll be different. That's for sure.
I thought I saw you, but I'll look in my grade 10 yearbook. Okay. Fair enough.
Me or saw you?
Miss Danny, I will repost in case Tiffany. I worked in oil and gas near Spruce Grove. You'll find employment in that area, especially in the Edmonton area. Yeah, we're not worried about much.
That was the big thing. Like we had talked about Sylvan Lake, Red Deer, but there's just nothing out there work-wise. So
Moral saying Mrs. Fringe should start her own channel. Miss Fringe knows best. Well,
I know nothing. What do I know?
Mrs. Fringe has no interest in starting her own channel. She wouldn't be able to keep it.
I don't think I'm that interesting.
She wouldn't be able to keep it consistent once she finds a job.
I would, but I would do it, but
let's go. Do you think Crappy Carnage is going to have the PM's residence fumigated before he moves in? No, he likes the smell of Justin. He's gonna enjoy that. Hang on, let's get caught up with the chat. I gotta get caught up because
you're missing a lot.
I know, but we go babbling and then I miss a bunch of stuff that happens. Pale Pinkish Humanoid. $10 super chat. Alberta must not enter into the 51st state as a province. If we do, we'll be regulated to a country. Yes, but again, what I'm saying is that the support for that is going to go up because again, Albertans are fed up. They're done. At least that's the consensus that I hear. I know Danielle Smith shoots it down because she doesn't want to be a leader that promotes it. Everybody knows that. I mean, she's not going to sit there and be like, yeah, 51st, baby. But she's not going to sit there and say that her citizens are fed up either. But she knows the writings on the wall. She knows that people are done. We'll see what happens. How long before Mark Carney invokes the act? That's a good question. We'll wait and see, I guess.
We're taking bets.
East and West Canada are two different countries when it comes to politics. We need a conservative government in the West. So if we end up with a liberal government, we need to separate. Yep. That's going to be the consensus amongst Albertans.
Yeah.
At least that's where I see things moving forward. Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to wrap up tonight's stream. I want to thank everybody who came into the stream tonight, everybody who watched. Again, keep your heads up. Good things are coming in the future. Again, I think things are going to get real exciting moving into election season. I'll be here to cover all of that as well as Mrs. Fringe in our live streams as we move forward. I want to thank Delphine. I want to thank Jay Peterson, Canadian guy, Angry City Prepper with the $2 super sticker earlier. Carnage Carney. There's a lot of Canadian guys in here. D Ski, Reg Porter, Shelly 3, Carbon Tax Carson, David Jejna, Nilok, Azriel, North 49 RC, Arthur OK, Reg Porter, if I didn't say that already, Pale Pinkish Humanoid, and Carbon Tax Carson for recently gifting 10 unacceptable Fringe memberships to the Patriots Club. Welcome into all brand new of our 10 members in the Patriots Club. Your generosity is very much appreciated, guys. See, I'm so brain dead today. I can't even get with it, guys. I appreciate everything you guys have done tonight. I appreciate all of you in the stream giving a thumbs up, hanging out in the chat. I hope you guys have a great weekend. Look after yourselves. Keep your stick on the ice. Stay positive. Good things are coming, ladies and gents.
Check us out next week.
Have a great weekend. Keep your eyes out for new videos. They're going to be dropping all week long. I'll try to get something out over the weekend for you guys. Until then, we'll catch you on the next one. Take care.
Have a good night.